God, thank you for this beautiful day you gave to us. Thank you for the chance to come to your house and hear your word once again. Pray you'll just speak to us, open our hearts and our minds, so we might receive your word with gladness, and we might go out and do it. Praise you. Please for all aspects of our service, and just name pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, I'd like to welcome you first-time visitors. As the ushers make their way back towards you, if this is your first time with us here at Lighthouse Baptist Church, you can just slip your hand up. Just a few quick announcements. Midweek service on Thursday at 7 o'clock. Friday night reformation night at 7 o'clock as well. Also on Friday, Christmas open house at Pastor's House, 6 to 10 p.m. You can come out and join us for that. Saturday morning invitation at 9:45. The next Thursday, December 12th, so a week from this Thursday, will be Christmas at the Keyboard with Danny Thomas. Make note of that on your calendar. Then Christmas play, December 15th. That will be the 5 o'clock service. You don't want to miss that. And also Adam Smith's wedding is Saturday, December 21st. And then one last announcement, December 15th and the 22nd will be our annual Christmas offering above and beyond our regular offering.
You remain seated as we sing page number 30, Nothing But the Blood. What can wash away my sin? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Page 30, and it's on the go. What the man was away my sin, nothing but the blood of Jesus. What made me whole again, nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the blood that makes me white as snow.
Joe and Kristen, appreciate that. Take your Bibles, if you'll please. Psalm 103 tonight. Finish up this psalm. Psalm 103, we'll be reading verses 13 through 18. Psalm 103 verse 13, like as a father pitieth his children, so the Lord pitieth them that fear him. For he knoweth our frame, he remembereth that we are dust. As for man, his days are as grass. The flower of the field, so he flourisheth. The wind passeth over it, it is gone. The place thereof shall know it no more. The mercy of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting upon them that fear him. His righteousness unto children's children, to such as keep his covenant, to those that remember his commandments, to do them. You with a good reminder, let's pray. Lord, we thank you for your word tonight. Pray that you would use it in our hearts as we look at this psalm. Speak to our hearts, work in our midst. In Jesus' name, amen. Left off last time dealing with the brevity of life, and man at his greatest described as the flower of the grass that will bloom one day and wither the next. Grass that's soon cut down and it's gone. Life can seem so long when we're on the front end of it, the front side of it, but you get a few years under your belt and realize life isn't that long. Life is so quick. Life is so brief, so fleeting. No surprise that the Bible describes it as a shadow, as a vapor. That it's here and then it's gone. And in Psalm 37 and verse 35, it says, I've seen the wicked in great power, spreading himself like a green bay tree, yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yea, I sought him, but he could not be found. Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off. The more power or prestige or possessions or pleasure a man can attain and achieve and accumulate in this life, the more significant he is in most people's eyes. In Ecclesiastes chapter 6, the writer says, there is an evil which I have seen under the sun, and it is common among men. A man to whom God hath given riches, wealth, and honor, so that he wanteth or lacketh nothing for his soul of all that he desireth. Seems to have everything, yet God giveth him not power to eat thereof, but a stranger eateth it. This is vanity, and it is an evil disease. If a man beget 100 children and live many years, so that the days of his years be many, and his soul be not filled with good, and also that he have no burial, I say that an untimely birth is better than he. For he cometh in with vanity, departeth in darkness, and his name shall be covered with darkness. The previous chapter, the author said this, as he came forth of his mother's womb, in Ecclesiastes 5:15, naked shall he return to go as he came, and shall take nothing of his labor, which he may carry away in his hand. How often do we forget that? God says, as you came in, you're going to go out that way. You're taking nothing. You're taking nothing in your hand. And this also is a sore evil, that at all points as he came, so shall he go. And what profit hath he that hath labored for the wind? What a description of a man's life when there's nothing of eternal significance, nothing of eternal value that he's accomplished or achieved. That you labored for the wind. You came in with nothing. You labored for the wind. There's nothing to show for your life. And you go out with nothing. Yet in this world, he may have achieved and accomplished significant things in man's eyes. Oh, he did this and he did that. And God says you're going to leave it all behind. No matter how powerful a man may become, there's one power that he will never have. Ecclesiastes chapter 8, he said, there is no man that hath power over the Spirit, to retain the Spirit. Neither hath he power in the day of death, and there is no discharge in that war. So no matter how much power, no matter how much he may have accumulated, he doesn't have this power. He can't retain his spirit. He can't determine when he's going to die. You can't check out of that when God calls your name. It's over. The writer of Ecclesiastes concludes his treatise on life, but by stating that life is vanity, that everything is vanity, and the word vanity, a waste, is emptiness and nothingness. And all of the things that he looked to for purpose and that he looked to for meaning could not satisfy. And as he rehearses this journey in his life and the things that he looked for, whether it was money or possessions or pleasure or fame or sex or parties or intelligence or power, you name it, he tried it. And then he pronounced all of it vanity, a waste. To summarize his 12-chapter book, he's telling us that a life lived for anything other than God has no real significance, no lasting value, no real importance. He says that from the perspective of somebody down near the end of his life. He looks back on a life and he would tell you that he wasted those years trying to find significance, trying to find purpose, trying to find fulfillment and meaning. He looked in a lot of different areas and said it was all vanity. And then he uses the phrase that it was vexation of spirit and frustration. We would all probably agree with that in principle tonight. We'd agree with it intellectually. And the logical question would be to ask ourselves, why then don't we live for God? Why do we so often pursue our own agenda, try to live life on our own terms, according to our own value system, rather than an eternal value system? The Lord tarries his coming. One day, you will die. Your flower may have bloomed brilliantly and been very attractive to a lot of people, but one day it'll fade, it'll wither, it'll die. You'll be gone. That's the fate of all of us if the Lord tarries his coming. If the Lord were to tarry his coming long enough, eventually there'll be no one around that even knew you. Your name and your memory will be gone. Even if you manage to accomplish something historic or something of significance, something noteworthy, you'll be nothing more than a few lines in an official record or in a history book somewhere. That's it. That flower in the field, it's going to die someday. The only thing it can leave behind is more flowers. Christian, you're going to die someday if the Lord tarries. The only thing of lasting importance, the only thing of eternal significance that you can leave behind are more Christians. If you were to die tonight, I'm talking to Christians now, how much of real worth would you leave behind? How many other Christians have you given birth to? How many people have you influenced with the gospel to bring them to the place of salvation? What will you leave behind of worth and value? In Psalm 103, verses 15 and 16. As for man, his days are as grass, as the flower of the field, so he flourisheth. The wind passeth over it, it is gone. The place thereof shall know it no more. We're not as permanent as we'd like to think. We're only temporarily here on earth. Our real significance is measured by how much eternal good we can accomplish. All the other things that seem so important, life, eternity, aren't that important? How much eternal significance, how much eternal good are we seeking to accomplish? The psalmist said, when I consider the heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars, as thou hast ordained, what is man that thou art mindful of him, and the Son of Man that thou visitest him? And I look at creation, I look at the grandeur of what you've created, and who are we? How important are we? How significant are we? Psalm 113, 5 and 6, who is like unto the Lord our God, who dwelleth on high, who humbleth himself, behold, the things that are in heaven and in the earth. We are finite, we are limited. Our significance is wrapped up in a God who is infinite and unlimited. Our text tonight, Psalm 103 and verse 17. The mercy of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting upon them that fear him, and his righteousness unto children's children. We see again the blessings that are promised upon those that fear the Lord. The mercy of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting upon them that fear him. Psalm 147:11, the Lord taketh pleasure in them that fear him, those that hope in his mercy. It's quite a thought that God could take pleasure in us. The Lord taketh pleasure in them that fear him. Psalm 115:13, he will bless them that fear the Lord, both small and great. Mercy and righteousness and the favor of God are given to his own. To those who will keep covenant with God, God will keep covenant with them. There are many covenants that God had with people in the Bible. Some of them were conditional, some of them were unconditional. We have the Noahic covenant, we have the Abrahamic covenant, the Davidic covenant, the covenant that God had with the nation of Israel. Here, David refers to what is called a conditional covenant. There were conditions to be met. Verse 18, to such as keep his covenant, to those that remember his commandments to do them. The Lord on many occasions had told Israel that what he would do for them if they kept his commandments. And then he told them what he would do to them if they did. In Deuteronomy 28, in that extensive chapter, he lays out for them how he would bless them. Deuteronomy 28, verse 1, it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all the nations of the earth. This is God speaking to the nation of Israel. I'll set you on high above all the nations of the earth. I'll bless you. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way, and flee before thee 7 ways. You'll scatter and destroy them. The Lord shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thine hand unto, and he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. The Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he has sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, and walk in his ways. And all people of the earth shall see thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. The Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy ground, and the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers to give thee. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thy hand. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. And the Lord shall make thee the head, not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath, if that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them. And thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods to serve them. That's what God told me. God made it plain. If you'll just observe and do my commandments, if you'll submit to my will, I'm going to bless you every which way. I'm going to bless you abundantly. I'm going to give you my favor if it's conditional. That's the good part. That's the positive. There was also the other side. There were promises associated with disobedience, just as there were promises associated with obedience. And so God would say, it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, and observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So God's just listed all these blessings. If you'll just obey me, if you'll just listen to my voice, if you'll follow my precepts and commandments, I'll do this and this and this and this. But if not, here's what you can expect. And God lays it out for them. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. And he goes through this long list of areas in proverb and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. Your name will be one of disdain and derision. I'll scatter you to the nations. I'll scatter you to the world. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but thou shalt neither drink of the wine, nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat them. Thou shalt have olive trees throughout all thy coast, but thou shalt not anoint thyself with the oil, for thine olive shall cast its fruit. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. On and on and on. Because you'll have this, you'll have this, you'll have this. If you don't listen, if you don't obey, if you don't hearken. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee. Thou shalt pursue them, and they shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness, with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and thirst and nakedness and want of all things. That entire rest of the chapter, God's listing, this is what's going to happen. As you come down to the end of the chapter, it says, thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. And thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even. And at even thou shalt say, would God it were morning, for the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. So you're going to live life that's going to be uncontented. And in the morning you wish it were night, and at night you wish it in the morning. You'll not be satisfied with life if you do not hearken to my commandments. God made a plan. There was no ambiguity here. There was no vagueness in God's instructions to the nation. If you'll live for me, I'll bless you. If you don't, I'll curse you. And by the way, when dealing with a skeptic, I try to take them to places in the Bible and just show them God had said, look, if you live for me, I'll bless you. If you don't, I'll curse you and I'll scatter you to the ends of the earth. But nobody can wipe you out. I'll always leave a remnant. That's prophecy being fulfilled today. Prophecy fulfilled before your very eyes. The Jews are scattered. If you go anywhere in this world, you'll run into Jews eventually. They're all over the world. In fact, there's a plant that just keeps creeping and rooting and going on. They call it the wandering Jew. That's the name of the plant. Why? Because it just keeps going. It goes everywhere. And God said, I'll do that with you. I'll scatter you throughout the world. And everywhere you go, you'll find Jews. You'll find Filipinos too. I don't know what you guys did. All over the world, you'll find Jews. But you can't be wiped out. Look at how many people have tried to wipe out the Jews. Not just Haman, but all through in the Old Testament, and Babylon, Assyria, and all those rulers. But in modern times, Mussolini and Hitler and other leaders have tried to exterminate them. The Muslims outnumber the Jews 100 to 1 worldwide. 100 to 1. How long do you think you'll survive if it's 1 against 100 that hate you? Not very long. But God says, nobody can wipe out. Nobody can wipe out. Okay? He says, if you can measure heaven above or search out the foundations of the earth beneath, then I'll cast off Israel, otherwise I'll not cast them off. And so you have prophecy fulfilled in front of your very eyes, but all of that was part of God's covenant with the land, with the nation. And they chose hey, we'll go our own way, we'll do our own thing. They brought the curse of God upon them instead of the blessings of God. That bestowing of blessings or meting out of judgment, God is well able to do. Proverbs 15:3 says, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. 2 Chronicles 16:9, the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the entire earth to show himself strong on the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him. 1 Peter 3:12, for the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayer. In our text tonight, Psalm 103 and verse 19, the Lord hath prepared his throne in the heavens, and his kingdom ruleth over all. And we might sometimes wonder if God is going to judge. Does he see? Does he know? And the nation of Israel wondered that. And Habakkuk wondered that. And Asaph wondered that. And David wondered that. And Jeremiah wondered that. Even as they saw God judging the nation. Because the nations God used to judge his people were worse than they were. Jeremiah would say, Lord, I know you're righteous, but I don't understand this. Habakkuk would say, Thou art pure eyes that behold evil, and canst not look upon iniquity. Wherefore lookest thou upon them that deal treacherously? Destroy the righteous. But God's judgment, God's final judgment has not come yet. And so in the meantime, Lord, why are you doing this? Why are you allowing this? God had said He would. But God's throne is in the heavens, and one day He's going to rule and reign, and one day He's going to set everything right. In the meantime, the psalmist would say, Lord, how long? How long will you let the enemy blaspheme? Forever? Shall the enemy blaspheme thy name forever? God, why don't you do something? And humanly speaking, I suppose we've all wondered that. God, why don't you do something? Why don't you stop this? I've thought sometimes, if I were God for a day, what would I do? I think I'd be a very different God. God's obviously much smarter than we are, much more long-suffering, much more merciful. But it seems like, God, you can do something. Why don't you? And the psalmist struggled with that. There's coming a day when the Lord will arise to shake terribly the earth, to judge all the nations. His throne is in the heavens. One day He's gonna rule and reign. In Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 8, it says, If thou seest the oppression of the poor, violent perverting of judgment and justice in a province, marvel not at the matter. For He that is higher than the highest regardeth, there be higher than they. You know, our Supreme Court is really Supreme Court with a little s. There's a real Supreme Court with a capital S. And that's the final court. You think, oh, our Supreme Court, that's the final court. No, it's not. There's a higher court than that. There's a higher bar of justice than that. And one day, God will rule. He's prepared His throne in the heavens, and His kingdom ruleth over all. And one day He will establish that, thank God. We can look around in despair and look at the injustices of our society and the perversions of man as he takes and turns away from God and shakes his fist in the face of God. As Daniel would remind the king, Daniel 2:28, there is a God in heaven. Thank God. And everything can be a mess right now down here. But Christian, don't despair. There is a God in heaven. There is a God in heaven. And one day, He'll set it all right. In the meantime, we live in a sin-cursed world. We live in a world where truth has been turned on its head, where evil is called good and good is called evil. And then the just are oppressed and the wicked go free. And vilest men are exalted. We live in that kind of world because it's sin-cursed. But one day the judge of all the earth will do right. One day the judge of all the earth will put it right. We can thank God for that. Because of God's greatness, His majesty, His righteousness, His goodness, because of all of the things spoken of in Psalm 103, the Lord's name is to be praised and the Lord is to be magnified. Verse 20, Bless the Lord, ye His angels that excel in strength, that do His commandments, hearkening unto the voice of His word. Not only are the angels called upon to join in this splendid refrain, but then all the hosts of heaven. In verse 21, Bless the Lord, all ye His hosts, ye ministers of His that do His pleasure. And not just the angels and all of His ministers, but all of creation is called to join in this anthem of praise. Verse 22, Bless the Lord, all His works, in all places of His dominion. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Of course, we know in Revelation, John records for us that there'll come a day when all of creation will bow. And all of creation will give praise and honor and glory to He who alone is worthy. One day that's coming. But in the meantime, the psalmist calls upon those who will listen to bless the Lord and to exalt His name. David had opened the psalm with the admonition to his own soul to bless the Lord, to praise the Lord, to thank the Lord, to exalt the Lord. And again in verse 1, Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless His holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all His benefits, who forgiveth all thine iniquities, who healeth all thy diseases, who redeemeth redeemeth thy life from destruction, who crowneth thee with loving kindness and tender mercies, who satisfieth thy mouth with good things, so that thy youth is renewed like the eagles. David then ends the Psalms by encouraging the whole world and all of the universe to get involved. Again, verse 22, bless the Lord, all his works, in all places of his dominion. Bless the Lord, O my soul. How is it with you tonight? Are you thanking the Lord? Are you praising the Lord? We've come through a time called Thanksgiving, which was a time set aside originally where humans would thank their Creator. We've lost a lot of that. Thanksgiving now is really all about turkey and football, and now even shopping. Black Friday shopping is kind of creepy. Black Friday is going to become a whole month before too long. Ain't nothing wrong with shopping, and nothing wrong with sports, and nothing wrong with eating. But even just that one season a year, we said this is the day of Thanksgiving. This was a time of Thanksgiving that's been encroached upon by so many other things. If you're saved tonight, there shouldn't just be one day of the year. So this is the day we thank God. No, it ought to be every day. God's people ought to praise Him. And the more we praise Him, the more thankful we are, the greater our heart's joy will be. The other night we had Thanksgiving, we had testimony time last Wednesday night, and I thought, man, we ought to do this more often. It's just good for God's people to gather together and say, God did this, and God blessed in this way. And thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. So are we thanking Him? Are we praising Him? You might say, well, I already did that this morning, but Psalm 113:3 says, from the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, the Lord's name is to be praised. In other words, all day long. We're to be thankful people all day long. We have a thankful spirit. In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you, 1 Thessalonians 5. In everything, we're to be thankful people. How thankful are we? Are we thankful? Boy, it could be easy to just find something wrong. We don't like this, or we don't like that. That's not quite right. We don't like this. We get upset about that. And if we're not careful, we can become critical, grumpy, murmurers, complainers, and fault finders, and upset with this, and upset with that, and not liking this. Oh, that ought not be us. Ought not be God's people. Even if people don't like what we believe, even if they don't like the plan of salvation, they say, you know, he's a really nice guy. Boy, she's a really happy person. Boy, she really has joy in her life. Boy, he really seems to enjoy life. That ought to be our testimony. We ought to have such a testimony. We ought to live such a life that people are drawn to the gospel because of that. Titus talks about adorning the gospel. That's what we ought to be. We have a thankful spirit. How many blessings do you have tonight? How many blessings do you enjoy that you thank God for? Or how many blessings do you enjoy that you just began to take for granted? It's so easy to just take God's blessings for granted. Talked before about manna and the children of Israel. The first day it came, and oh, how exciting that would be that food would fall from heaven. A miraculous provision of food at God's own hand. And then after a while, they just got used to it. Just normal. Every day. Didn't think a thing of it. And then they got to the place where they were complaining about it. And that's the digression we faced in our lives. If we're not thankful, if we're not careful to be thankful to God and bless His name and thank Him, then eventually we just take it for granted. And then maybe we even complain about it. We start complaining when it's gone, when we don't have the blessing anymore. Now we miss it. Now we appreciate what we used to have. I remember reading one time where a man said, he said if the stars only came once every 1,000 years, then on that night people would go out and say, that's incredible. What an incredible thing. But they're there every night. All the time. But David said, you know what I think about it? I think about the stars. What is man? God, that you'd even mess with us. That you'd even bother us. That you'd hear our prayers. That you'd forgive our sins. Bless the Lord. Don't forget His benefits. Don't take them for granted. Psalm 92 says, it is a good thing to give give thanks unto the Lord, and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning, and thy faithfulness every night. That's a good thing. It's a good thing to give praise unto the Lord. Be thankful people. Yes, this is Thanksgiving weekend. Yes, we had Thanksgiving on Thursday. But if you're a child of God, every day ought to be Thanksgiving. Every weekend ought to be Thanksgiving weekend. The psalmist would say, enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him and bless his name. It wasn't talking about one week a year, 1 weekend a year. They say, hey, when you come to church, when you come to God's house, you ought to come with an overflowing heart. God's been good to us. Rather than, oh, I got to go to church, it's Sunday. No, there's a lot of people out there that are living their lives for things that aren't going to matter at all. And they're empty and shallow and searching and looking for fulfillment and can't find it. But for those of us tonight that have been redeemed, that God has saved us, bless the Lord, O my soul. And all that is within me, bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits. Bless the Lord, all his works in all places of his dominion. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Father, thank you for this special song. Lord, may we be thankful people. Forgive us for being so quick to complain, to get upset, to murmur, to criticize, to find fault. Lord, sometimes we can be so quick to point out what's wrong, so slow to thank you for all that you've done. You've blessed us abundantly. May our souls rise in a great chorus of thanksgiving and praise to you. May we be thankful people. Lord, forgive us for focusing on our problems and difficulties and forgetting how much you've blessed us. There's not a person in here that doesn't have problems, doesn't have situations that we wish maybe were different, or, Lord, that we need help and guidance in. But Lord, you've been so good to us. We praise you for that tonight. Bless this time of invitation, we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. With every head bowed, every eye closed, quietly stand to your feet.